Bourbon banana bread begins with 3 to 4 very ripe bananas. 3 bananas will give you a lovely loaf. 4 bananas will leave you with extra batter for muffins. Mash them up in a bowl and add the bourbon. Let them macerate for at least an hour to soak the bananas through for a rich bourbon flavor. When the bananas are good and boozy, preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius and prepare a loaf pan. Grease it with butter and coat it with flour so it pops out when ready. Next, cream room temperature butter with the white and brown sugar until they become a smooth paste. You can mix it by hand, with a hand mixer, or using the paddle attachment on a stand mixer. If you'd like, you may swap out the brown sugar for maple syrup, but reduce the amount by 1/3. When the butter and sugar are creamed, add the egg and vanilla extract, followed by the sourdough starter discard. If you are new to sourdough, I do have a video all about it linked in the show notes below. Next, add the dry ingredients. The best way is to mix them all together in a mixing bowl before adding them to the wet ingredients, but you may add them one by one too, waiting till the end to mix them in. Oops, I almost forgot my bourbon bananas. These should have gone in before the dry ingredients, but here we are, rolling with the punches. Pour the batter into the prepared loaf pan, making sure to leave an inch of space. The batter will expand in the oven, and the last thing you want to do is clean up messy overflow. For a special touch, sprinkle a generous layer of cinnamon sugar. And then into the oven it goes for an hour. If you make a 4 banana batter, you will have enough for a small batch of muffins. I'm adding chocolate chips to mine. Walnuts are another tasty option. Where the loaf takes an hour to bake, the muffins only need 25 to 30 minutes. The loaf is done when a quick toothpick test has clean results. Allow the bread to cool for 10 to 15 minutes before flipping it out of the pan onto a cooling rack. Then let it cool completely before slicing and serving. Bon appetit!
Hi, I'm Sylvia from Vintage Kitchen Vixen, where I share tips for simple living, creating memorable gatherings, and preparing wholesome and traditional recipes with a vintage twist. And I just showed you how to make a sourdough bourbon banana bread. Now, if you're new to the world of sourdough, I have a video, which I will link in the show notes below, that dives into how to make your own starter from scratch, but you can probably get your hands on sourdough starter from a friend or from a bakery or from somebody on Kijiji. I don't think there is very much to say about banana bread. It is a childhood favorite. It is one of those classic recipes that everybody seems to have a recipe for. Mine is really good because there's bourbon in it, and I let the bananas sit and macerate in the bourbon for at least an hour, if not longer. I think it was sitting for 2 hours today. So it's only an ounce of bourbon that goes in, but by the time you start mixing the dough, it just smells so bourbony and delicious. What can I say? I love baking with bourbon. I also have a recipe for bourbon vanilla chocolate chip cookies that I will link below. It's so good. I normally make banana bread when I have bananas that really need to get used because I hate wasting food, or when I get my hands on a bag of discount bananas, which doesn't happen very often, but when it does, I like it a lot. And yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about banana bread. It's pretty straightforward. You can add chocolate chips in there, you can chop up some walnuts. I like sprinkling mine with cinnamon sugar, so it kind of has a light little crust at the top because the sugar caramelizes. It's not crunchy or anything, but it's just, it adds a little something extra, you know? I've done this recipe with spiced rum before and it was delicious, so I don't think you can go wrong whether it's with bourbon or rum or even brandy. I haven't tried it with brandy, so if you try it with brandy, let me know how it goes, please. Let me look at these muffins. Oddly enough, I prefer banana bread. I prefer banana bread after, hold on, let me check my banana bread. The loaf is still in the oven. You know, when you go to test baked goods, you're supposed to prick it with a toothpick. I really like using meat skewers. I use these when I make rouladen. They're supposed to be trusting skewers for chicken, but I never trust my chicken. Maybe I shouldn't. See how that goes for me, but it just seems like a really intimidating process, so I've never done it. You can see from the top there's a little bit of, I don't know if you can see this. If you can, I'm sorry. But you can see a little bit of the brown sugar. It's really caramelized. It does split in the middle, and that's completely normal, so don't worry about that. I'm just gonna... It's coming out clean. I didn't put any chocolate chips in this. Okay, that's good. So I'm just gonna pop this on my cooling rack, which is on the opposite counter. So don't mind me. After it comes out of the oven, just pop it on the cooling rack, and after about 10 minutes or so, flip it out so that it can cool from the bottom, because you don't want the bottom to get soggy. So flip it out and just let it cool completely on the cooling rack. And if you can, be patient and wait for it to cool down, because I find that's when it tastes best. I love the idea of sinking my teeth into a warm pastry, but for some reason with banana bread, I like it to be a little bit cold. And if I'm feeling extra decadent, I will spread it with butter, and it's so good. I keep saying that I don't have very much to say about banana bread, and I really don't. And yet here I am rambling. So I'm going to hush and stop rambling, and I am going to thank you so much for being here today. If you are new to the kitchen and this is your first time, I really hope you enjoyed my video. I like having fun with my recipe videos. Sometimes I do silent film mode, and lately I've been experimenting with a voiceover, with like a vintage-esque voiceover. So let me know what you think about that. I'm still having a little bit of difficulties with the audio. I'm not an audio visual person. Like, that's not me at all. Everything, it's all been a learning curve. So if you hate it, just please be gentle. I really hope you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so that you never miss an episode of The Kitchen. And if you are coming back for yet another episode, thank you so much for being here. I'm always so grateful for your support. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It would also mean the world to me if you took the time to like this video, to drop a comment, and to share this video on social media. Every little bit really helps me to grow this channel and reach more people. And if you do try out this recipe for yourself at home, I do have the ingredients listed below. There's also a link to the blog post in the show notes where you can print off the recipe. And if it goes well, if you take the time to leave a star rating on the website and to leave a comment, that helps me out so much. You have no idea how much that helps me out. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, that's it for me. I do put out one new video a week, so I will be seeing you real soon. Bye. Oh, it's so hot in my kitchen. Why do I bake in the summer? Whew. Yeah, there should be at least half an inch of room for the batter to expand, and it will rise, and if you don't give it enough room, it'll just bubble over, and then 15 minutes later you smell burning and your smoke alarm is going off, and you panic, and you're grateful that you have a tin foil liner at the bottom of your oven, so you can just rip off the tin foil and replace it with fresh tin foil. Yes, this has happened to me, and yes, I do have a video all about how to clean an oven naturally. I will link that below if you want to see me clean an oven. Gosh.